Everybody, Scott Carson here with the note term of the day. And today's term is, what is fade? Now, fade is a term that we use when submitting offers to a seller. Now, what happens when a seller has a portfolio or a tape of notes is that they'll send you over this tape and they'll give you some sort of pricing, or in an earlier term, we say some sort of color to get an idea. And you're submitting your bid, whether it's a all-in bid or a loan level pricing where you're pricing each individual asset individually based on your qualifications. Now, you often don't have time to do a ton of due diligence on the front end. Sometimes sellers want bids back within 48 hours. Sometimes they'll give you a little bit more information. Sometimes they'll provide a lot of information on the spreadsheet or the Excel tape with values, BPO values, things like that. Well, if your offer's accepted and you make an offering based on what the seller has provided as far as due diligence or information on the tape, but as you're working through your due diligence after acceptance, you find out that the value of the property is way off. Let's say they say the value of the property is 150 and you find that the value is actually 100. Well, that's a substantial difference in of the asset, at least, a 30% discount off of what they thought the value was. So in that case, we would say, hey, we need to fade or reduce our bid based on the values coming in at 100. So we would fade our bid roughly 33% on that asset. So that's what it means. Fade means to discount your offering. You can fade for a variety of reasons. Property value is usually the number one source. Values come in differently. Now, you wouldn't fade your bid up if you found that the value would be greater than what they said. You would keep that quiet. But if you found the value was dramatically less, we're talking more than 10 grand below, and the more expensive the asset, the bigger the discount based on valuation. If it needs work, if it needs no work, if you found that the property said 150 and it was supposed to be in good condition, you found that it was trashed out or needed a lot of work, obviously the value is less. You would also fade your bid for a variety of other reasons. Let's say you found out that the unpaid principal balance of the loan was actually quite a bit less than what the seller was representing on the tape. You would fade your bid because the balance is less, or legal balance is less, or if taxes were owed a lot more, you could fade your bid for a variety of reasons. Or let's say, with COVID and everything, let's say you find out that the state has delayed foreclosures for 6 to 12 months compared to what you originally bid. You could fade or reduce your bid based on the fact that you'd have to hold on to that asset for a longer period of time and not be able to foreclose or start legal or evictions in that case. So fading means just reducing your bid based for a variety of reasons. And what happens if you face your bid? Do you face getting blacklisted? No, this is a common practice in the note space. If you don't agree on values, you have the right to fade your bid. If they will not accept your fade, then you're canceling the bid and walking away. So this is why it's important to understand that you have that opportunity as a note investor to fade your bid. Whereas most real estate investors, if they're making an offer, they go to contract, they're not really adjusting their bid. They may add some contingencies or concessions to reduce things, but we're not really doing that. A loan sale agreement with what we buy in notes, if the bid doesn't come back in, or the value doesn't hold up, or due diligence does not reflect what we've been showed, you have the right to fade your bid. No penalty, no blacklisting, no slap on the wrist. It's a common practice, happens all the time in the note investing space. So that's your note term of the day. What does fade mean?